Besides its Silicon Valley tag, if there is one thing which defines Bengaluru, it is its cosmopolitan nature. Lakhs of people from different parts of the country have migrated to the city and made it their home. While most things here often unite people, the dividing factor has often been the linguistic debate. The issue has flared up from time to time. Recently, the Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagarapalike passed a rule that before February 28, all the signboards in the city should have 60% of Kannada on it, while the rest could be of any other language. Shortly after, members of a Kannada outfit, Karnataka Rakshana Vedike, took to the streets and vandalized the non-Kannada signboards in Bengaluru. We spoke to a few retailers and shopkeepers in the city about the BBMP's new rule, and this is what they had to say.
Other states and all, if you go in Bengal, Maharashtra or Telangana, anywhere, they have their really regional languages. But as far as we Kannadigas are concerned, we are lacking that.
See, when you're talking about that, then when you're into an IT hub altogether, I don't think that it is fine. Okay, you can have all the languages, so it helps all the people in that region. But if you just want to specify that, I don't think that is a good idea.
Government ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋದು ಸರಿನಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ?
ಅದು ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಮ್ಮ. ನಾವು ಆಗಬೇಕು, ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು ಅದು ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಕನ್ನಡ ಇರಲೇಬೇಕು. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸ್ಟೇಟು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಇರಬೇಕು.
ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಅವರೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಇಟ್ಟಿರಲೇಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅದು ನಾವು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷು ಕನ್ನಡ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು?
ಹೌದು,
ನಮ್ಮದು ಗೌರವ ಅದು ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅದು ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇದು ತುಂಬ ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅಂತ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದೆ.
ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಸೋಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಖರ್ಚಾಗ್ಬೋದು?
ಖರ್ಚಾದು ಬಿಡಿ, ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
We are now joined by Aditya Bharadwaj, the Deputy City Editor of the Hindu Bengaluru, to speak more about the issue. So Aditya, what are these new rules announced by the BBMP and why has it taken retailers by shock?
So this is not exactly a new rule. In 2022, the Karnataka government brought in a new act called the Kannada Language Comprehensive Development Act. So under that act, there is a rule which says in any signboard across the state, not just in Bengaluru, half of it, the top half should be in Kannada and the bottom half can be in any language. So now this notice that or the deadline that has been set by BBMP is essentially a deadline for the implementation of this new rule. So the retailers have been taken by surprise because this rule has a history and it has been earlier, the government has attempted to implement this rule multiple times and has failed because the court has struck down this rule under a different law, that is the Karnataka Shops and Establishments Act 1961. So they thought that this was over because the court has struck down, and they are taken by surprise because how come when the court has struck down, there is a new deadline and there is a new call for signboards to be in Kannada. Many don't know about this new law that was brought in 2022, which includes this rule again. This has not been challenged in the courts yet. Only the rule under the Karnataka Shops and Establishment Act was challenged. So not many people know this, so they are surprised. They think that it has already struck down by the court and there is no room for this implementation. But there is a law, new law, under which this is possible.
Okay. So what prompted the Karnataka Rakshana Vedike members' actions? Why did they go on streets and vandalize many signboards?
So once the 2022 law was passed last year, this rule was not implemented yet. So Karnataka Rakshana Vedike started a campaign 3-4 months ago, going to all shops, malls and other commercial establishments and petitioning them to change the signboards into Kannada signboards according to this new rule. So in many places they have got positive response. Like some of the Karnataka Rakshana Vedike themselves say that they got a positive response in some pockets of Chickpet and some other places. So they got a positive response in some places. But the problem is that many bigger commercial establishments objected to this and they kept on saying that there was a stay order by the court there was no clarity on this new law, there was not enough awareness, and probably one face-off with one particular mall on Ballari Road led to, also angered Karnataka Rakshana Vedike. Apparently Karnataka Rakshana Vedike was given legal notice as to who are you to ask for this. So they organized a protest on December 27th on the Ballari Road, also targeting the mall which had objected to their campaign, and that's how it led to vandalism.
So if we go back in time, what is the history of these linguistic tensions and what is the new ordinance that was announced by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah recently?
So the history of the linguistic question in Bengaluru is very old. Actually, it dates back to almost since independence. So Bengaluru was the commercial hub and Mysuru was the capital of the state. So after independence, Bengaluru became the capital of Mysuru state and then eventually of the larger reorganized or unified Karnataka in 1956. So Karnataka suddenly at 1947 and later at 56 became the capital of this Kannada imagination, which it was not previously historically. So this has always been a cosmopolitan city. So this question has been there for decades now. That has a very long history. But the question of Kannada signboards is a pretty recent one. It probably first started in 2002 when SM Krishna was the chief minister. The government issues a circular to all the municipal corporations in the state to ensure that signboards are in Kannada. So if you see, 2002 is a very interesting phase for this question to come up, because that is also when the city was becoming a more globalized, more globalized capitalist kind of a city. SM Krishna had said that he will remake Bangalore on the lines of Singapore, and that is also when actually an organization like Karnataka Rakshana Vedike was birthed in Bangalore. So it is a very curious time when question of Kannada came to the forefront again, probably as a response to the changes that were happening in Bangalore. So in 2002, when the circular was issued, that was not taken to its logical conclusion and that was not implemented. Also, a circular did not have enough legal teeth for this implementation. So in 2008, when BJP government was in power, Yediyurappa was chief minister, they framed the rules for this, new rules for this Karnataka Shops and Establishments Act, under which they specified that half of the signboard should be in Kannada, the top half, and the bottom half should be in English. Again, that was challenged in the High Court twice, and it was struck down once in 2009 and another time in 2014. So that question died down. Legally, it died down, but this demand for Kannada signboards persisted. So in 2018, again BBMP, because it gives the trade license and everything, as part of that rule, it again framed another rule and said the signboard should be in Kannada. Then they introduced this new thing where they said 60% of the signboard should be in Kannada and 40% can be in any other language. That was also again challenged by Retailers Association of India in the High Court, and in 2019 the High Court stayed that order as well, that rule as well. So all attempts to enforce this through Karnataka Shops and Establishment Act or through trade license have failed at least 3 times in the court. So this led to the demand for implementation of this rule or this demand in some or the other way. So in 2022, when Kannada Development Authority drafted the Kannada Language Comprehensive Development Bill, so it was included there. So the argument in the courts earlier was that the Karnataka Shops and Establishment Act or the trade license did not handle the issue of language per se, and you cannot insert it in a law that governs labor issues. So now this is a law which actually handles Kannada language issue itself. So this rule was included here. So that is how it has come to the forefront again. The ordinance that you said, that Chief Minister Siddaramaiah announced, the Kannada Language Comprehensive Development Act 2022 also mentions that the top half of the signboard should be in Kannada and the bottom half can be in any language. It doesn't mention this 60-40 rule that was introduced first time by BBMP in 2018. So now they are saying that they will bring an ordinance to this act to introduce this 60-40 rule. So presently section 17(6) of this act again says that top off in Kannada and bottom off if in any language. So now they will bring an amendment to this act through an ordinance saying 60% should be in Kannada and 40% in any other language. And they have set a, they are yet to bring this ordinance. Once they bring this ordinance, they have set a February 28, 2024 deadline for all the shops to follow this 60-40 rule for signboards.
So what is next for these rules? What lies ahead? How would the implementation take place now?
So like the Chief Minister has announced, the government is going to bring in an ordinance and they have set for a February 28 deadline for the implementation of this new 60-40 signboard rule. But the retailers and trade associations are saying, one, there are practical difficulties in assessing what is 60-40 in a signboard, and there are such practical issues. One, and it may again be challenged, you never know, because all earlier attempts to do this have been challenged and the courts have struck them down or given stay orders. So this may again be challenged, we don't know that. Or they are also asking for more time for implementation, and this is 2 months is too less for implementation, and now the ordinance is not even affected yet, it has not even promulgated yet. So they may ask for more time and the deadline may be extended. So we need to see how this pans out further in both in the courts if it is challenged and from the government and BBMP side.
With the deadline just 2 months away, it would be interesting to see in the upcoming days how the retailers would react to it. Until then, we'll be bringing you more updates on the issue. For more such explainers and news reports, follow The Hindu.